What's up and welcome back to the channel. Today we're at my house in Shirley, Massachusetts, and we are going to be basking in the greatness of the off season at my parents' house, enjoying a casual round on a beautiful fall day while just doing a quick recap of my 2022 season. Pro Tour Championship just concluded this weekend. Congrats to Ricky. I got to watch that playoff. It was super awesome. And Angel just pulled in because Angel's going to be filming with us again today. Today, I just want to go through the season, talk about some highs and some lows and some good highlight portions of the season, whether it be on the course or not, or just hanging out with friends. But we also have Rory boy today. Rory's debut on the vlog. Hi, Rory. Hi, buddy. He's a good boy. Today, I have just received the announcement for the very first Casey White Tour Series, which is called a Shield Series P2, and it is releasing this Friday, October 21st. And I literally just got off the phone with Discmania, and this is very exciting. I've never had a disc sold with my name on the Discmania website before, but it's just going to be D-line P2s. It's going to have a cool caricature stamp on it. I'll have Coach Broad put a picture in right here, but very exciting. I really hope that everybody is going to go out and get one for me and support me in my tour. And this day just got that much better. This video is now going to be a very happy video at the glorious Ryder Ridge. And I hope that all of you, I should post this tomorrow, Thursday. So I hope that tomorrow, all of you go to the Discmania website, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Eastern, to get your very first Casey White P2. And thank you for the support, and hopefully many, many more to come in the future. Okay, so today's video is going to feature my course that I designed and built, Ryder Ridge, but we're going to go back and reminisce on the season I've had this year, talk about all the good times on the course, off the course with good friends, starting in Jacksonville, Florida. And today, we're starting on hole 1. So as most of you know who followed me this past off season, I spent my winter in Florida, my first ever winter away from snow. I was at New World Sports Complex, and Jacksonville treated me well. I actually finished my off season with 2 aces in 1 week in Florida, and then I hit the road west. Stopped in New Orleans. Shout out to Chris and his wife for hosting me. I got to play Park Day Familias. Then I headed to Austin, Texas for a couple days to spend the weekend with my friends Dyer and Penny, who host me when I head there. And then we went to Las Vegas, which was honestly one of my favorite events of the year. It was my first time being 21 years old in Las Vegas, and I have to say that it was just a completely new experience for me. Went to the Strip a couple times with your boy Sip by you. We went out after the final round, went to an EDM concert at like 2 a.m. I'm pretty sure that was DJ KJ's idea, but that was probably one of the best nights of the year. And I just have to say thank you to all my touring friends for kicking off the season on the right foot. And I actually had my best finish in Las Vegas. I got top 30, which I haven't done since I played AM there 5 years ago. And I missed my birdie putt. Las Vegas was a pleasant surprise. As much as I hated how far I had to drive to get there, I definitely enjoyed myself once I made it. From there, we headed to Texas, and now we're on to hole 2. Angel with his rock squeaking through the trees, and that is a putt for birdie on his own basket. Angel's basket donated to hole 2 here at Ryder Ridge. We had a good time in Texas, I would say. It started at the Crush on the Concho, one of my favorite beach ears in Texas. Shout out to the Veals for running that one at low putt. And we went from a beach ear in Concho to Waco, which was my birthday. We all went out for a crazy night. We started at the bar, then went mini golfing. It was a crazy good time after a 30-degree weather day. But the craziest week of all in Texas was the weekend of the Open at Belton. Our host, we called him Rockin' Tony, one of the most legendary characters I've ever met in my days traveling the country. We talk about him all the time. We quote him, laugh about his jokes. He was an iconic man, and we still wish that he was here with us all the time. Texas swing seems like one of the longest stretches of the tour because almost all of Texas to me looks the same. and the courses kind of play the same, and it's just all crazy wind, and there's not much you can really do about it. But after that, we headed to Texas States, which was one of my better tournaments of the year in 2021. And it was actually my greatest finish at an Elite Series of the year this year at 13th place, one stroke out of a USDGC spot. And I kind of thought that's where everything was gonna kick into gear and get going. And everybody after Texas State's headed to Nashville for the Music City Open Silver Series. But I decided to skip Nashville and just head straight to Augusta, Georgia to practice for the Champions Cup, because that event was the most important, the major, and I had 2 weeks to practice, so that's where I went. Park. So, Augusta, Georgia for the Champions Cup. Definitely the week I looked forward to the most, with the most determination I've probably ever had towards a disc golf event, because I wanted to walk into that event and I wanted to freaking win. I had more preparation, more practice than anybody. I had played so many practice rounds all by myself, just jamming out to music, getting in a zone without anybody bothering me. I didn't see another human being on the course for 2 weeks straight. And I remember when I showed up to play my first practice round, the lady at the desk when I went to pay for my round asked me if I was a PDJ member. And that's when I knew how early I was in preparation. And I stayed with Jeff Brick. Shout out to Jeff Brick. He actually got me a ticket to get into the Masters on Wednesday, which that was super awesome. And he asked me the night before the tournament what I wanted to do. And I told him, I want to be in the lead after the first round. And then after the first round, I was tied for first place with Corey Ellis. And just that alone, setting that goal for myself and accomplishing it just by telling myself I wanted to be in the lead and then putting myself in the lead, it was so fulfilling. But unfortunately, it was such a short goal that I almost felt too fulfilled, because it was only one round of a 4-round tournament. I shouldn't have been saying I want to be in the lead after the first round. I should have been saying I want to be in the lead after the 4th round. And I dropped from first down to 22nd by the end of the weekend, which is actually tied for my best major finish with USDGC last year. But overall, Augusta, I can't wait to be back. From Georgia, we went to Jonesboro, which was, to this day, my greatest finish at a Disc Golf Pro Tour event. In 2021, I got 5th, and my only bogey of the tournament was on the very last hole, hole 18. And I just have to say, Jonesboro is kind of a special place for me. I really enjoy the course, even though it's an open course that isn't really my style. I feel like if an open course is going to be one specific thing, it would be Jonesboro. Didn't play the best, but we're still dealing with like insane wind. I think that Georgia was the only tournament in the first half of the year that we didn't deal with like this insanity of winds. But I ended up in the top 20, then went to Emporia and shot myself into like 70th place after the second round at Jones. But then by the time that we went to Country Club for the 3rd round for the cut and the moving day, I shot even par in the freaking 40-mile-an-hour winds. I was one of 3 people to not shoot over par. It was me, Dickerson, and Big Germ. And I jumped myself all the way back into the cut, jumping like 45 spots. And I did not expect to play on Sunday. And that was a pretty special moment there. After DDO, I headed over to Colorado, spent a couple weeks at the Discmania warehouse in Wellington. Got my van wrapped, got to meet basically everybody that works behind the scenes for Discmania USA. Built some great relationships, had a great time tossing discs, picking out new plastic for my bag in the collection. Big shout out to the guys at the Discmania warehouse for basically hosting me and letting me use the White Tiger while my van was in the shop. What's next up? The West Coast Swing. We're gonna go up the hill to the hanging basket. You can barely see the top. But the West Coast Swing started actually at Zephyr Cove at Lake Tahoe. I filmed a video there. That's where I broke my putter. I would say that might be the beginning of the end for my season, when I had switched putters mid-season. And if anybody knows me, I usually go 3 years without switching putters. I actually went to San Francisco for the first time. I played in the Polecat World Championship. Got to play Golden Gate Park, and that was awesome. Then we played the OTB Open in Stockton. Shout out to Sean Jack and the OTB guys for running that crazy good event. So much fun, big party, great spectator experience. And that's where Simon got his first win of the year. And we thought that that was so freaking crazy at the time because I picked him to win. And I don't think anybody else really expected Simon to get another win anytime soon. But just the fact that he played good at Jonesboro, played great at DDO. Ooh, great shot by Angel. And then it was just coming out to the West Coast. It was the only course that he hadn't had more than a year away from, meaning he played it the previous year. Then he came out and freaking won. And even though I didn't cash, I felt like I won. Just the fact that Simon won, it was so freaking awesome and unexpected. And then we went up to Oregon, had another great time while we were in Oregon. And he freaking won that one again. And that was basically all I have to say about the West Coast, because I didn't play good at all. And I don't even remember, because I just remember Simon winning. And that's really all I need, I guess. Next, I flew home after driving from Portland, Oregon to Minnesota in 2 days. That was crazy. Oh, nice layup. So after my poor performance on the West Coast, I decided to drop out of the Beaver State Fling and then fly home to Massachusetts to play in my buddy Abel's Memorial Tournament at Maple Hill, as well as the Brewster Ridge Open A-Tier. And I'm happy to say that I won both of those events, and it was great to come back home, get a little bit of a reboot in the middle of the season. And I was saying it in the middle of July and August, I don't know if I would have made it had I not gone home for that week and a half. My family also picked up Rory that week. He was just a little tiny nugget puppy, and it was just a very wholesome recovery week from being on that road grind with no home base and Planet Fitnesses and all that jazz. But at the time, just it being like a decision to be made, and I didn't know if I wanted to spend money on the flight and leave my van in Minnesota. I'm so thankful that I spent the time to go home, because that was probably one of the most crucial parts of my season. Picked up my first win of the year, got a little fuel to the fire, big win, first win at Smugs. And then we were headed back to Minnesota after that for the Preserve, and I was also very excited about that. Thankful for the trust in my instincts after I saw that the Brewster Ridge Open was going to be an A-Tier this year, for me to prioritize putting it on the schedule, get that W under the belt. But next up is going to be that Midwest Summer Tour. Basket, courtesy of Discmania. Just sent it in. Got my CW logo. Shout out to Chris, who does my hats. Switch Custom Apparel. Hooked it up with stickers too. Nice. Oh, that's good. Let's go. At the Preserve, I actually got a hot start, landed myself on chase card. I shot 10 down. My best start at the Preserve ever by far. And I held on. I think I was in third card going into the final round. I just kind of got some bad card vibes, unfortunately. And it just kind of ruined my attitude. I really didn't want to be there anymore. Made me feel guilty for who I was. And I don't know, I was in a terrible headspace, and I felt like I deserved to bogey and I deserved to miss putts. And that was probably the first time that problem has ever hit me that hard, just because I want all my card mates to have a good time and not be mad. But not much you can do about that. But unfortunately, I think that was kind of my last good tournament of the summer, besides maybe D-Glow. The Midwest, man, it took its toll on me. We were out there for so long, sleeping in the van in the heat of summer, 100 degrees at Idlewild. D-Glow was beautiful. Ledgestone was beautiful. Had a great time with Kyle Moriarty. He came out to Ledgestone, and Jarrett Neesmith. But just the Midwest tour just drags on, man. You start in the Midwest in April, you're still out there in late August, and then by that time, you're dragging yourself all the way back to Emporia. And that is just something that It really takes its toll, really takes it out of you. But we'll get to that on the next hole. Oh, might have robbed an ace. After the Des Moines Challenge, we all headed back to Emporia for another scorcher in the heat at Jones Supreme, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I am a huge fan of Country Club. There's the Fox. Look at Angel. The Fox.
Oh yeah.
Where is he? There he is.
Right there.
It was a scorcher. I actually dropped out of the Mid-America Open a month prior because of how dang hot it was and how bad I was throwing. And the same thing happened in Emporia, but unfortunately, because it's Worlds, you don't get to just drop out. You gotta freaking tough it out and play in that. And it was just a rough go. I did have a great time. Went to the Bourbon Cowboy like all the time with my friends. Played some pool, hung out, met a bunch of new people just from all walks of life on tour. And it was a very fulfilling week, even though my play was very subpar. Shout out to my buddy EJ. He caddied for me that week. Made it very, very fun when it could have been not fun. And I just appreciate that always. And now we're on to the next hole where I started to head east, which was the happiest moment of my year, driving home. Flippy putter into a headwind. Oh, I still didn't flip. I thought I was gonna flip all the way. Then let's get to my favorite part of the whole season. After I started driving east, I stopped in Washington, D.C. to meet up with my new friend Brennan, who is the guitarist for the rock band Mod Sun. And I got to meet him in the band, and we got to go out for a round of disc golf, joined up with the local doubles league. My buddy Gil and I, or my partner and I, Gil took it down, and then Gil ended up coming with me to the concert the next night, and it was just a great time. And it only happened because we went to that doubles league and met some new peeps. Shout out to Justin Duncan, former New England player who moved down to that area, for letting us know about the doubles. But anyway, after DC, came home, went to Hunts Mean, which you saw my video from there. That was freaking awesome. Haven't been there in 5 years since I won the tournament. And then after Hunts was Simon's wedding. And people for the last couple weeks keep asking me, how was Simon's wedding? And I keep telling them it was one of the best days of my life. And it wasn't even my wedding. But it just goes to show how much fun it was. And it was a very, very special day, leading right into my favorite 2 tournaments of the year, GMC and MVP. And I have to say, GMC, not my best showing, even though I was in first place when I got off the course in the first round. The course ate me alive. Felt like in the second round, I felt like I was playing great, but only ended up with a -2. And then after that, went back to Brewster and shot an even and found myself outside the cash, which was a first career missed cash for me at Smugs, which is just unacceptable in my opinion. Thankfully though, I had MVP to bounce back, and MVP ended up being one of my better tournaments of the year. I was on the 3rd card of the final round playing with Paul and Ricky, and a really fun full circle about that is the first time I ever went to watch disc golf, other than my home course, Devon's, was the final round of the Maple Hill Open, and Paul and Ricky were battling out on a lead card. And here I am 7 years later on Paul and Ricky's card in the final round of the Maple Hill Open. It was very fulfilling. I birdied the first 2 holes of the round, and I was the only person to get the first 2, and that was it. I was just very, very happy and very satisfied. Came to play, got to show the local crowd some love, and hope they're proud of me. But now, here we are, home at last. And I just played a couple B tiers. I went 2nd, 1st, 5th. Now this weekend is my last tournaments of the year. I got the Sunstein finale, the Mass Grand Prix at Maple Hill. And then I have the Jeffrey Cranston Memorial at Meadowbrook, which I played last year and lost to Marky Chap. So looking to cap off the season on the right note. Very, very glad to be done competing, unfortunately. I wish that wasn't the case, but it's just, that's how it is sometimes. But as always, thank you to Angel for filming. We're going to be seeing a lot more of him nowadays. And thank you to all my friends who really make the tour worth it, because if I was touring by myself with no friends, it would just, I don't think it would be worth it. But my friends really make it worth the while. Trevin, Marky, Tristan, Simon, I don't know, everybody in between, just all of them. I love them all. Joey Tamale. And I can't wait to get it going again. I may not have qualified for the USDGC or the Tour Championship, but thankfully I'm still good enough to get a tour card again for next year. So you will be seeing me on the 2023 tour, which just sounds crazy to say, knowing that 2023 is already here. Crazy year, crazy good times as always. Like and subscribe. Lots more content to come. And this Friday, hopefully tomorrow if I upload this on the right day, this Friday, Casey White Shield Series P2 is my very first Discmania release with my name on it, and it is going to be the Tilt Baby edition. I'll show you the stamp here. In the pictures, I don't have them on hand, unfortunately. I just have a picture from the warehouse, but I hope that all of you want to support and show some love for my very first tour series. And thankful for this opportunity. Thank you to Discmania and to Disc Golf 978. They're my sponsors. They keep me on the road. Shout out to Coach Broad for always editing the videos. But this is only the start for vlog season. So the fall colors, beautiful weather, you're gonna see a lot more of it. A lot more Ryder Ridge too. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.